Hey everybody, firstly I wanted to say a huge shout out to OhBoy, DevOps, and matou for allowing me to make a video on their product while it's still in beta, because not a lot of people do that, and it's really amazing that they're letting me do that, and it's a great product. I hope we see it more in the future. So if you've ever wondered what you looted from an enemy, or how often in a match you're building, fighting, or how much health you're losing on average in a fight, you need to jump on this. Because I see it all the time under It's Jerry and posts, Kin Beans, just any pro, any content creator that makes improvement videos. How do I improve? I'm stuck. I'm telling you, these stats will give you a better insight and understanding of, oh, here's like the area in the game where I'm messing up, this is not what I'm doing enough. Or if you want to like gauge how much your W key game's improving, you can see how much time in a match you're spending fighting. Fortnite Skillup, link at the bottom of this video, is a game changer on how we can view our Fortnite stats. From player improvement, it has everything you could want, and they're adding more features. Actually, they're so interactive on their Discord that within not even maybe a day of me and several other people being in there, we made suggestions, and I'll show you in a minute, on the materials, and they implemented it. Like, that's crazy fast. They're amazing. You can just do that, and then they have this nicely set up. This, paste, and it'll upload. Now there are some caveats. I don't think creative uploads, so if you try to like do a file and it's like says that it fails, it might just be because like that match was like a creative match or a late game. They're working on adding more supported matches, but it just depends. You can also, if you don't want to do this, like say if you have this, your link for that, you just open this file, right? And then you can literally highlight, drag, and it'll just upload. What I tend to do is I'll just upload, and I'll just come back here and just make sure that they're uploading. And as you can see right now, it supports, this is last week's Cash Cup. This is just a game of trios. In alternative to uploading here, you can also use this download, which I have it here, and it works really well. I'll go ahead and log out to just show you like what happens. So when you click log in, it comes up this and this, and this is just to verify that the codes match everything, and then you're logged in. There's no Epic account related to like the only way that this is even here, which is my Epic name, is the fact that it's getting it from my game data. Because when you sign up, you just create an account with an email, and since it's in beta, they do that for you, and then you immediately can change your password, so it's not a big deal. As you can see, we have two main things over here: game analyzer and profile. We'll talk about the game analyzer first. So I'll try to find a match where I can talk about everything that I want to talk about, but I may have to click around in a minute to find the right one. There's 5 separate tabs, which are these, like, so the main tabs, and then we have these. So this just gives us like an overview, and we can see our time building, editing, farming, snowball, fighting. We don't really see the time per se, but we see like an average, and the average is the bar, and then just wherever you're at is the number. So for this game, not a lot of fighting. We didn't have anything off spawn. I think all our fighting was in-game of the tournament. On this, you can see our mats, obviously. So you click materials, and this is what they added in. So originally this was all gray, and they amazingly went in and added color to all 3 of these. So you can tell like this gray kind of is metal, and this like back here, the tan, that's the wood, and the brown is brick, the stone. So they've done great with this. And it's so cool because like you can see like early game, we're farming a lot of like wood where we drop at, so this makes a lot of sense. And then like my metal, like 77, that's pretty typical. And then I would say like this is like the mark where we start getting all our metal, and then we're just max. So I would say probably from here to here I found a llama, like our team did. So that's that. And then like you can see like towards as we get to like the end game, like the zones close in, as we're using more like wood, everything. But then you can just see where I died, you know, because like everything just dropped to 0, or I ran out of mats. But yep. And then the other thing that's cool is you can turn your health on, and now it's like this relatively makes sense, right? Like most of the game, unless there's a fight happening or like fall damage or something, you know, your health's gonna stay relatively level throughout and then drop like right where you die, right? Like it should go down gradually, and then when you die it's at 0. This, however, is what's really interesting, because here you can see like your time, what your shields are like, and you can see if they go up, if it goes down, and then again it goes down obviously as your health would go down. So that's really cool, and I think it's really helpful because especially in early game, like I just know where our drop and everything is. Like we usually get minis really quickly, and then depending, like there's chug splashes and other things, so like that can vary a lot. And if there's an off spawn fight and my teammates fight and they dip, or you know, like anything like that, that can cause fluctuations. But it's really cool to be able to visually see this and keep track of it. Now on the third tab, it shows us, you know, our damage taken, our health regenerated, our heals wasted, but then it gives us an average. So like this is really cool. And in this game my average was a little bit higher for heals wasted, so you know I probably ate a flopper at like 70 health or something, you know, 80, something like that. But or like a 50 pot, because sometimes we'll do that, especially if we know we're going into moving and we're gonna need surge, or we already have everything, so we'll just go ahead and burn some of the stuff that we have. And you know, you're fighting, this is your like your actions per minute, and all of these are like pretty normal where mine are. My materials used is usually 1500 to 1200, it just depends. And then, you know, accuracy, this is the big one, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I even talked to them about this, so it's really cool. They said they are going to try and look at separating your shots at builds versus like shooting at a player. And the reason why that's important is if you're trying to actually improve your accuracy and you're just taking screenshots at the end of the match, well, the Fortnite stats built in the game, they don't cover that. So what happens is if you're in game and say you're spraying builds to either get through due to moving and you're under a lot of wood, metal, you know, whatever, and you're just SMG spraying, well, your stats go from like, say they were at like 30-40% accuracy, or 80, you know, 90, it just plummets instantly. So they said they're going to try to work on that. I'm not sure when that'll be implemented, but that's going to be really cool when they get there. And so our fourth tab, this is probably one of the best tabs in the game, and I'll click through like some different matches to just show you, but like it shows you what items you used and how much throughout like the whole game. Like this game, you know, that obviously in game I use, like, it's not for the whole team, it's just for me, so you have to keep that in mind. But you know, I just myself use 2 chugs, 2 minis, a big pot, 1 bandage, 1 med kit, and the firefly jar. And then you can see our loadout. So basically at, you know, 54 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5, you know, you can just kind of see our loadout. And that's really nice, because sometimes you're like, well, you know, especially if you're trying to improve, you're like, well, wait a minute, what did I have here or here? So this lets you see that, because unless it's a tournament, which like this is a tournament, but we all know Fortnite replay mode is not always the best. It's kind of really buggy. Sometimes these don't load. So being able to pull this up alongside a replay is really awesome and really beneficial, because you can pick stuff up and it doesn't like show up. This also lets you go in and look at more games, different matches, a lot more in depth. So our 5th tab is the map, and basically they're gonna have it where wherever you spawn, it'll have that path all the way to where you died, and it'll have like the death marks around it where you got 8 limbs. So you'll be able to click on those and you'll be able to see like your loot, what changed, all those things. You'll be able to check your, like, it'll have the little markers across it, and you'll be able to check where your mass increased, all of those things. Now the next thing I want to point out is over here on the side, we have our profile. Under profile, we have our grades and all stats. All stats is coming soon. I've seen some pictures on it. It's got some really cool things in there, but it's not here yet, so we just got to talk about what we have. So we have our building, which is, you know, it's kind of cool. You get to see kind of how often you build in matches. Now these, I can guarantee it, we just died off rip really early in these, so not a lot of building. And same thing with the editing. You know, typically when there's not a lot of building, you're not going to edit a lot, but you can tell in like the tournament games and other games that, you know, my building editing's really high. Edit time is 2 milliseconds, so that's the most interesting part here. Now farming has our time to get a weapon, which that's huge, especially for like tournaments or testing out drop spots or stuff. You know, even after you like find where loot spawns, you could really optimize, like, okay, on average, how long is it taking me to pick up a weapon? And then the same thing for getting 50 shield and getting full shield. You know, that's everything. And then we're just gonna skip over snowball. So this really won't have much of effect in like tournament games, stuff like that, because it's an evaluation of the power of your equipment every minute. So it's like, you know, sometimes we all know, like, if you're in a tournament, sometimes you're making it in-game with a gray AR. So, like, this just isn't going to be that relevant to us. But it's really cool nonetheless, because you can gauge, like, certain things. Like, if you're trying to make a route for, like, henchman chests, like the IO chests, or, like, where birds spawn, or fishing, then you might be able to actually utilize this to kind of gauge, like, okay, are we getting to those spots quick enough? But you could probably use the map and other things better for that. Now, fighting, this is really cool. And again, like I said, the accuracy, they're gonna like change this for certain things. But my pump accuracy is 69. Let's go. You know, I do be hitting those one pumps. But time to kill, kill per minute, you know, win rate, all that, that's pretty stereotypical stuff. Again, I would like to thank OhBoy, DevOps, and matou. They've done amazing work on this. They're taking suggestions, making changes, and if you want to be a part of something not only amazing but something positive in the Fortnite community, I really recommend clicking on the Discord link in the description and joining the beta.